Hello, beautiful butterflies. Have you ever wondered if your child is being abusive to you? In my Flying Higher program, which is for Christian women who are interested in doing deeper personal development work with me, I often get some version of that question. They might say, sometimes my child yells at me when they don't want to do their chores. Sometimes they will even say, I hate you, and scream at me and slam their doors on me and give me this, or even give me the silent treatment for days at a time. And it really triggers me because it reminds me of maybe their husband or their ex or their dad or their mom when they were a kid. Well, recently someone asked a similar question in our community forum, and various other members jumped in and offered their thoughts. Here's what some of them said. One member thought that, if kids grow up seeing that kind of behavior modeled, then it's not surprising if they show up that way as well. Makes sense. Another person pointed out that since abuse is about power, and since children do not have the kind of power that adults have, then it's not abuse. And another member made the point that if a child behaves like a child by trying to manipulate his parents in order to get his own way, well, that's childish behavior, pretty typical, and it can be shaped. But when an adult behaves like a child by doing the same manipulative things, well, that's abusive. In other words, children are not resourced in the same ways that adults are. They don't get a pass for being manipulative. Not that children get a pass for being manipulative either, but at least we don't. This person was like, it's not abusive. That's just what kids do. They're trying to figure out how to, get what they need out of life. And I tend to agree with that. The problem that I see is that when we as parents believe that our children have power over us and can control us, then what are we going to feel in our bodies? We're going to feel afraid. And when we're afraid, our body will go into fight or flight mode. We'll either lash out at our child ourselves in response or reaction to that, or we may run away. And by running away, that could be just shutting down or just, maybe even giving them the silent treatment. In doing this, we actually are handing over our power and control of ourselves and our emotions over to them. In other words, we are creating what we believe is true, which is what all humans do. If we believe something is true, we're going to create more of it in our lives because we're always looking for evidence of what we believe is true. We're going to create that evidence. We're going to look for it. You can always find evidence for what you believe out there in the world somewhere. Now, I just want to say that I'm sharing this as a mother who raised a child who was eventually diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and who had BPD symptoms her entire childhood from age 2 on up. The symptoms did not get better with time, they got worse. And this is after raising 4 older children who were, your average children when it comes to behavior. For those of you who have not read my story, just to give you a small taste of what this was like, my child did not just slam their door. They broke doors. They broke chairs. They broke tables. They broke walls. They did not just say, I hate you, but they bit, hit, kicked, pinched, chased, pushed, pulled, and left bite marks and bruises on most of their family members over the years. They did not give us the silent treatment. They would scream for hours at a time, almost every day of the week, and many times into the wee hours of the morning. And if it sounds like I'm exaggerating, think again. There are 12 people who lived with this child and can all testify to this mind-numbing experience. Yes, we had PTSD from this. And yes, for years I talked to medical professionals, took her to weekly therapy, tried several medications, put her in a day treatment center, and I could go on and on. I only say this to make the point that I understand the temptation to believe that a child is abusive, or to be afraid that a child is turning out like their dad or their grandfather or someone else that may have abused you in your life. Now, I do believe that once a child is in their teen years, if they are physically hurting family members, they need to be held accountable. You need to call the police. I did. I knew many of the officers from 2 different cities where we lived. And yes, it's embarrassing. And it feels like, what is my problem that I can't control this child? But the fact is, you can't control everything in the universe. And some of you have children that you can't control. Now, I do believe this is not the norm. I know most of the families that I know, they did not have a child like this. They had your run-of-the-mill, average children, right? And I raised 8 other kids. I do know that there are parenting strategies that work beautifully with most kids. The frustrating thing is that when you're talking about this if you do have a child like this and you're talking about parenting with someone who doesn't, they're not going to be able to relate at all. And they're going to make assumptions about your parenting and about your life that are completely unfounded. But there's really nothing you can do about that either. But here's my point. If we believe that our child is an abuser, there is no, whether they have BPD or, oppositional defiant disorder or ADHD or however they're showing up in their behaviors. If we're thinking, oh no, they're an abuser, they're abusing me, I'm a victim of my child, I'm telling you, there is no way they are not picking up on that vibe from you. And if you think back to when you were a child or a teenager, how does it make us feel when we know that someone, especially someone that we are relying on to get our needs met, is thinking poorly of us or thinking thoughts like that about us? And it's coming out because we're letting little things come out. You can't hide that kind of belief from your child. They're going to know that you believe something like that. If you think my child is being like his dad, or my child's going to turn out like his dad, and if that child knows that dad has got a lot of problems, that child's going to take that on to themselves. You have to remember, when you were a child or when you were a teenager, did it motivate you to want to be a better person when someone was putting that on you, and you felt all kinds of shame and deep resentment and anger inside of your body? No, it actually makes kids worse if they think that the adults in their life are thinking poorly of them in those kinds of ways, or thinking sort of catastrophically about that. I remember one time my mom told me, I didn't keep a very clean room, apparently. I don't really remember how well I kept my room, but I do know that my mom was very, very particular about cleaning. And she was a stay-at-home mom, and our home was immaculate. There was absolutely nothing out of place. Our carpets always looked vacuum cleaned. Her kitchen was spotless. There was not a crumb to be found anywhere. And I couldn't live up to that. I didn't know, that level of perfection. That was just not where I was at as a child. Having raised 9 children, because I had 4 more children after this middle child, having raised 9 children, that's not realistic. It's not possible. And I was a typical child that way. But I remember my mom telling me that because I remember the shame I felt and the fear I felt in my body when she told this to me. And she must have told it to me on several occasions, because this was something that was ingrained inside of me, was that you are going to be a slob when you grow up. In other words, you're not going to be good like I am. You're going to be bad. Your house isn't going to look good like my house looks like. Your house is going to look bad. And of course, I took that on myself. And then when as an adult, whenever my mom was going to come over, I really was very fearful about what she was going to think about me and my house. And I had so many children, it was really hard for me to keep my house spotless. I never did attain to that perfection. Now I don't care. But at the time I cared. I was trying to win my mom's approval, and I thought that's how you could do it. But my point is that I took that shame on myself, because that's what my mom projected, that her fear and her shame over having a house that wasn't perfect onto me. And I took that on myself then. So here's the thing. I haven't met a child who loves to do chores. Actually, that's not true. I have an autistic nephew who loves to clean, but really he's the only one. And this is like one. this is one of his things that he's obsessed with, which is great. It's great for my sister, right? But most kids are brilliant, and they're going to try to do all kinds of things, and figure out ways to meet their needs. They're going to do what all humans are wired to do, which is to avoid things they don't like and try to get more of what they do like. And aren't we the same way? I certainly am. I definitely avoid things I don't like, and I definitely pursue more of what I do like, and I try to figure out ways to do that. So why would our kids not do the same thing? And if they think that things aren't fair for some reason, it doesn't matter if we think that it's not fair. The point is that they don't think something's fair. What are they going to do? They're going to protest. I do the same thing. If I believe there's injustice or there's something's not fair, your kids are going to probably try to punish the person that they believe is treating them unjustly. If that's you, they're going to try to punish you. They might give you the silent treatment. They might slam the door. They might tell you that they hate you. Again, this is all completely normal behavior. Now, do we want them to continue on in these behaviors? No, we don't. But you need to know it is normal human behavior. They're just going about it the wrong ways. They're going about it in ways that are not socially acceptable. They're going to get them into trouble eventually down the road. So those are opportunities for us as their parents to guide them and to redirect them and to give them other ways to express what they're thinking and feeling that are not destructive. And that's our responsibility as parents, to learn those parenting skills. But it turns out that kids are just like us. They're human. But here's the difference. Children have no skills. They do not have the life experience that we have. They do not have the emotional maturity that we need to be developing ourselves to be able to self-regulate and see things from a larger perspective. Their brains are undeveloped. They don't have a voice or autonomy or freedom. When you think about it, they're not resourced in the ways that adults are resourced. Now, you as a survivor may feel like you're not resourced, but you are far more resourced than a child is in your situation. Children need at least one self-regulated adult who is committed to seeing them and hearing them and understanding them. Now, that doesn't mean that we as the adult have to agree with them or even do what they want, but how can we get down on their level and learn how to create a safe enough space for ourselves, first of all, in order to be able to create a safe space for them where they can feel heard and understood? We have to create that internally inside of ourselves first. Can you do that? Do you have those skills? These are important questions to ask yourself. If they believe that their efforts to be heard are causing us to believe that they are bad, where do they go from there? If that's all they have. If they've tried every tactic in their arsenal to be heard and understood, and what it gets them is more shame and blame and gets their parents thinking that they're just bad, there's no place to go other than to shut down or fight, right? Then they go into those fight or flight modes. So we might say, when they're shutting down, we might say, oh, they're giving me the silent treatment. But what that really is our kids have just given up on getting us to see them and what they need. They've given up on us. It's a messy business to grow up. And kids are supposed to try to get their needs met. They are biologically hardwired to do that. So if we label as they develop, they're going to try different strategies as they are supposed to. This is normal human development. But if we label those normal human development strategies as manipulative, they're going to slink away in shame. And they're either going to, number one, learn not to stand up for themselves, which is basically shutting down the fight and flight response, or they will learn how to stew in anger and turn against the world. That's the fighting. But either way, we lose their hearts. So what do? The best thing that you can do for your children, whether they are 2 or 22, is to first of all be able to maintain a sense of safety in your own inner nervous system. If you don't feel safe within yourself, then you're not going to be able to help your kids feel safe. So it starts with you. In Flying Free, I teach several courses that will help you grow in these areas. They're transformational. And I also teach a parenting course, which, just practically applies some of these things to your parenting. There are 3 levels of help that I offer in Flying Free. The first level is called Flying Free. And it's just going to give you the foundation that you need to make some massive shifts in your programming and in the way that you feel in your body. I have curated information and resources, and I have taught classes and put everything together in a transformational journey that will change the way you think about yourself, the way you think about your kids, the way you think about your parenting. You can go to joinflyingfree.com for more information. The next level is called Flying Free Plus, and it offers everything in Flying Free plus a bunch of additional courses that go deeper into the concepts that you learn in Flying Free. And I really recommend that you go through Flying Free first, and then when you're done with that, you can add the plus to it if you want to go deeper. And then the third level is called Flying Higher. And this includes everything that's in Flying Free and Flying Free Plus, but this is for Christian women who want to spend time with me live in various mentorship opportunities each month, including live group coaching, live Bible studies, live book studies, live class discussions. There's several opportunities where I get together with these women and we do some amazing work together. We're going to be in January. We are going to be going through a planner. It's called, and I'm going to take you through a class/workshop called Wings to Soar. And we're going to actually map out our strategy, and we're going to personalize it for you. You're going to personalize it for you, and I'm going to help you walk through that so that by the end of our time together in January, you are going to have your 2025 goals and strategies mapped out. I'm going to teach you two incredible tools that are going to help you to make 2025 your most transformative year yet. And we're going to do that in Flying Higher. If you want to join me, and I have a friend of mine, Becky of the Well Planned Gal. She has an entire planner system. She has been selling planners and stuff for homeschooling moms for years and years and years. Way back when I was a homeschooling mom, I bought her her homeschooling planner every year. Well, now she's expanded her business and she sells planners for working moms. She sells planners and she's been spending the last 2 months developing a special transformative planner just for my program, for my people. And I'm going to be sending you pictures and giving you all the details about it soon so that you can, if you want to buy one, you can do that. Give it to yourself as a gift for Christmas. That's what I'm going to be recommending. And if you're a member, anyone can buy this planner, but if you're a member, she's throwing in a free leather portfolio to put your planner in. And just for members only. So, and also as a member, of course, you get to take the course with me. If you're not a member, you can't take the course. If you are, we're going to walk through this planner. The planner has the course outline, and all the worksheets are actually embedded in the planner. And you can buy the planner and not take the course. It's very self-explanatory. You can walk through it yourself, or you can go through it and workshop it with me. Anyone can join. Just go to joinflyinghigher.com. And even if you just join for a month in January and take the class, we would love to have you. All right, that's all I have for you today. Happy parenting. And until next time, fly free.